Hey guys, do you want to know everything about fasting? I think I got your back right after this. Hey guys, what's happening? It's your boy C-Dub. All you weight loss warriors, thanks for joining me today. This topic is really a topic that's obviously near and dear to all of our hearts that are fasters. But a lot of you guys out there that might be watching the channel might not be a faster, might not have any information on it and what the benefits are. And some of you guys that are fasting may not know which fasting to do and which benefits happen with which fasting and what goes on. So I want to talk to you guys about it, break it down today. I'm going to break it down to the nitty gritty, if you will. So first and foremost, intermittent fasting is really just time restricted eating, which is really at the end of the day, eating inside a particular window of time. And that particular window of time can change from person to person, and it has all kinds of amazing benefits and all kinds of amazing stuff you guys need to know about. So the first one I'm just going to talk about is what a lot of people, I don't even know if it's really called a thing, but 12 and 12. And I would recommend anybody that's never done it to jump on the 12 and 12 bandwagon. What a 12 and 12 is basically not eating for 12 hours and eating for 12 hours. If you take into account that the average person sleeps for 8, you're really talking about 4 hours of your day not fasting. So I suggest you stop eating after dinner. Let's say that's 7 o'clock at night. That means 7 o'clock in the morning you can eat. That simple. What are the benefits of that? There's not a great deal of benefits, guys. Mainly the only benefit is you've cut snacking at night out, which is just so important. I think I'm speaking for the majority of Americans maybe in this, but I think when we sit around our couch at night, that's when we're breaking the popcorn out, watching some Netflix. That's when we're eating our ice cream. That's when we're snacking on different stuff, maybe popping open that bag of chips. And by eliminating that, you're saving yourself hundreds of calories a night, which in turn is going to increase your weight loss. So I think 12 and 12, the only major benefit is it cuts nighttime snacking out, which to me is the worst kind of snacking. So that's the way to start. So now that we got that and the fact that there's not many benefits, we push that aside. It's a good starting point. So the next one I want to talk about is 16 and 8. And why does 16 and 8 work? What's the story behind 16 and 8, and basically why is it better than the 12 and the 12 and 12? 16 8, first of all, is the one that most people fall in. If you bump into somebody and they're like, yeah, I do intermittent fasting, and you start talking to them for a while, 16 and 8 is going to be most likely the place they fall into. And I think 16 to 8 is great, especially for people that have never had problems controlling their food. You know, if you've always been able to eat a decent portion and not overeat, you've never really been way overweight, and you've never really had those issues, man, 16 and 8 is amazing because it's giving you a chance to eat 2 decent-sized portions, and you're able to skip out on that breakfast, which saves you some calories, which can knock out those few extra pounds you want, and you can reap some of the benefits that fasting has. So reduced inflammation. 16 hours, you're going to be reducing all the inflammation in your body. You're going to reduce your blood pressure. You're going to reduce your cholesterol. All of those things we all need in our lives. And so just skipping that one meal allows that to happen. It's not going to dive too much deeper into that, but it will release a little bit of more human growth hormone. Well, they say 1,000 times more, but that's a deceptive number. It's enough to matter, but it's not like so overwhelmingly enough to where you're going to become Hulk Hogan. You know, it's not like taking synthetic HGH or anything like that. So at the end of the day, it does a lot of benefits. And if you're able to work out, one other thing to think about, if you're able to work out right before you eat on a 16 and 8, that last hour, you've already gone through all of your glycogen. Glycogen normally lasts 6 to 10 hours, somewhere in that range. And so it's out of your system by the end of that fast. And if you get on that treadmill and you start pumping or you start doing some cardio, lifting some weights, you have to tap into fat in order to burn energy, and that's going to be a huge help for you. One other thing is mental clarity gets a little bit better on a 16 to 8. So 16 to 8 is a beautiful thing, and I think that's where most of you fall in. My 16 and 8 warriors, you guys know the drill, and you guys are thinking about fasting, If you get started on 12 and 12, the second you get used to it, drop yourself to 16 and 8 as quick as possible, because 16 and 8 is a good place to be. 20 and 4, I feel like, is a place that is for me a nice ratio, because it's in between the crazy OMADers, and it's, you know, not quite as simple as the 16 and 8, and it gives you a little bit of autophagy, which is, for those of you that don't know what autophagy is, it's self-eating. So you begin to eat yourself in that range. And I know everybody will say, oh my God, that's starvation mode. Well, if you pay a little bit of attention, the Nobel Prize in 2017 went to a doctor talking about autophagy and the fact that it's actually good for you and that we need it. So, you know, your body is going to eat the bad cells before it eats the good cells. It knows what it doesn't need and what it needs to turn into energy. And so it's not going to eat your muscle like they preach to you. It's not going to eat all of that stuff. What it's going to do is it's going to go straight to the cancers. It's going to go straight to the bad cells that will develop into cancer. It's going to go straight to the plaque in your brain. It's going to go to all the bad stuff that we don't need, and it's going to attack that first. And it's going to break that down, and then you're going to use that for energy. Who doesn't want to use the bad stuff in their body for energy? So you get some of that at the warrior diet. And so I think that, and the warrior diet is the 20 to 4. I think that is a place where I would recommend people live their lives, because, you know, it gives you some flexibility, and that's important. And yet at the same time, it allows your body to get into that little bit of that autophagy, and you get a little bit of autophagy every day. It's going to add up, and you're going to be able to avoid some of these big problems, but you're still going to get all the other benefits, the 18, you know, what do you call it? You're still going to be able to get the mental clarity. You're still going to be able to get all of those kind of things, that the inflammation, that's what I was looking for. You're still going to be able to get the inflammation reduced, the cholesterol reduced, the blood pressure reduced. All of that's still going to come in that 16 to 8 range. So you're going to be able to get that done. So I'm going to save OMAD for last, because that's the one that I do, and I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about how it relates to other ones. So I'm going to talk about the ones that I think are the least common, the ones that you'll find the least number of people doing. And that's a 5-2 plan. There's a documentary out there. I don't have the name of it now, but if you look up 5-2 documentary, you can see it. I watched it a long time ago. And basically the concept there is, if you're fasting 2 days a week and you're eating whatever you want on the other days of the week, that because you've restricted your calories on 2 of the days, overeating on the other days isn't as important. And, you know, in that documentary, and when this gets taught and how it's written in books and everything, is they allow you to have 500 calories on your fasting day, and then on your other days of the week, you're eating whatever you want to eat. The problem that I have with that is the 500 calories on your fasting day interrupts the autophagy, and they don't limit it to when you can eat it. So you can have 100 calories here and 100 calories here and 100 calories here, and you never get your body into the zone that I think that it would benefit most from. So if you're going to do a 5-2 plan, I think if you do a 5-2 with no calories, you're going to get into autophagy, you're going to get into a lot of solid benefits on those 2 days, and then you're going to be more okay. But I also think that when you're going in and out of a fast, I think it's harder than it is to get something that you're very used to. And so what I mean is, if you're going to do 5 and you're going to do 2, if you are eating 5 and 2 and on your other days you're doing 16 and 8, I think the 2 days you're fasting are easier to do. I think going back to 3 meals a day, the standard way of eating, I'm not so sure I'm ever sold on that. But, you know, I know some people are and aren't meant for fasting. But for me, I think if you can go a whole day without eating, then a 16-hour fast on the days you are eating will do you wonders. It'll put you in a deep autophagy in there twice a week. I mean, I think that's pretty amazing benefit. And it gives you some flexibility into how many calories you're eating on those 16 and 8 days. You know, so there's no particular perfect way of doing that. So the other one is alternative day fasting. So you eat whatever you want, you don't eat. You eat whatever you want, you don't eat. You eat whatever you want, you don't eat. So that ultimately goes back again to the same benefits as the 5-2, is every other day you're breaking into autophagy. Every other day you're getting it. All the mental clarity is still going to be there. all of the, especially on your fasted days, all of the lower cholesterol, lower blood pressure, fat loss that all the other intermittent fastings have are still going to be there. But what you have done in the every other day is, if you think about it, if you're a way overeater, and you like to eat 5,000 calories in a day, then by fasting every other day, now you're only eating an average of 2,500 calories a day, and that will bring some weight off of you if, depending on your TEDD or TDEE, your TDEE, depending on that, you're able to, adjust that. But even if you only, want to eat 2,000 on average a day, you can eat 4,040, and you're obviously going to be averaging that too, in the sweet spot, and your weight's going to come down. So, plus you get the autophagy and all that stuff. But I think that those kind of can be difficult too. So now OMAD, and my OMAD warriors, we're there. And OMAD is just, oh man, OMAD is amazing. And I can't sell you on OMAD. Some of you are just gonna be like, I could never do it. But the benefits of OMAD are just so vastly great. And not just because you're still going to catch the mental clarity and you get it every day because you're on OMAD. You're still going to get the reduced blood pressure and the inflammation and the autophagy. All of those things at 23 hours are flying high. And there's a lot of studies that say once you get beyond 23, it doesn't, it's not a doubling effect. It starts to slow a little bit. So you're in your peak there. You're getting the best out of all of it. Your growth hormone's at its strongest. And if you can get into the weight room like I'm doing right now, right before you eat at that, at that 22-hour mark, I'm in there lifting, man, I can feel my body burning. It's just an amazing thing. So, but OMAD gives you so much flexibility, and you can compare it and pair it with some of the other fasting to make it even exponentially better. And what I mean, guys, is let's just talk about this for a second. Say you're going to, you have OMAD, but you're going to go today and you're going to go to this wedding and you want to have wedding cake and you want to drink alcohol and you want to do all this in that 1 hour, and you're just going to, you're going to eat 3,000-4,000 calories. You can then compare it with alternate day fasting for a day and take a day off. And you think about that. So if you eat Monday night, you take Tuesday off and you eat Wednesday night, you have dropped yourself into a 48-hour fast. And it's easy, if you've been doing OMAD for a month or so and you're used to OMAD, to miss one meal is easy peasy, especially if you just keep yourself busy. If you're going to sit around all day, it's going to be harder. But if you keep yourself moving and doing things, man, it is going to absolutely go by. You're going to get to the next meal. You're going to be deep in autophagy, and you're calorie restricted too. So what is better than that? But ultimately, it's going to do all of those things that I talked about before. But it's got a few other things I want to check out, because I wrote them all down. I didn't want to miss one of my things. But OMAD also is just, one beautiful thing is it's going to save you cash too. So, you think about all of the time and energy you spend buying food is going to be reduced by a third. And that is just absolutely one of the coolest things about it. It's going to definitely get you into weight loss mode. If you're not overeating your one meal, you will lose weight. There's no way around it. You might have a week where you don't. You might have 2 weeks where you don't. You could go a whole month where you're at a stale, but you're going to go down in your weight. I'll give you an example. In December, I got this beautiful iWatch for my wife for Christmas. This watch was on you guys can't see it, but the dot there was at the very end where I could barely link it together when I got it, and now I'm on the third link on my watch. That means my wrist has gotten 3 links smaller since December, and that's an amazing thing. My belt that I bought actually for Christmas was on the very last. I could barely hook it, but I knew I was going to lose weight. Now I'm going 7 notches down. And guys, I was already losing weight, way before then. I'd probably already gotten rid of close to 100 pounds. So you're talking about just huge weight loss benefits that are just amazing. And there's no more yo-yo weight gain. If you stay on OMAD, your weight's not going to go back up. If you do keto for a year, you're going to lose weight. You're going to lose weight, guys. Especially if you keep your calories down keto, you're going to lose weight. But you're going to gain that weight back when you get off of keto. Almost immediately. Some keto people get off for a week and they gain 15 pounds. Man, OMAD, all you have to do is eat one meal. That's it. If you can keep doing that, your weight's never going to yo-yo back up. And that means your metabolism isn't going to get jacked up. You're going to be good to go. It's proved to be huge in decreasing your cholesterol, which everybody, doesn't want. Your blood pressure won't come back up when you're fasting. It's already coming down. Blood sugars aren't going to be an issue. How important is that, guys? Come on, man. We're talking about type 2 diabetes is not going to be an issue. So blood sugars are going to stay low because you're not, stuffing your face every second. This is the most important one that I wrote down, guys. I'm going to look down for a second because I can't even tell you. It's just so important. It's so important. Guys, it frees your time up. No more 2 times a day, you don't have to do dishes. 2 times a day, you don't have to put dishes away. Your shopping just got shorter. But more importantly, there are 2 periods of time, breakfast and lunch, that you have scheduled into your life forever that now you have as access to do whatever you want. To start your YouTube channel. How about that? How about you take the time that you ate breakfast and lunch, take that hour and a half of your day that you're not spending now doing that, and do, you can research on one of them, record on another one. Wow, now you got a YouTube channel and you never had time for that before? How about this? How about you do what my man C-Dub does? Yes, I'm talking about myself in the third person here. How about you use it to exercise? That's it, man. I walk and I walk on both of those things. That's an increase of 8,000 steps a day. 8,000 steps a day I would not get if I was eating during those times. That benefit is the benefit, my friends, that changes your life. It gives you an hour a day. How important is an hour of your time? How important is an hour of your time? You think about that. You think about if I called you right now and I said, I want to pay you for an hour to come to my house and do something for me. What would you charge me? That's what you think your time is worth. So in that process, you're getting an hour of that back. That's worth a ton. Guys, you can adjust it too. So if you're in a social event, you can have breakfast and then not eat around, which is a huge thing. I'll get a little bit more into that, but it's very adjustable. That's another benefit. Here's another one that my wife and I were talking about it a minute ago when we were driving together, is just being tired and not having that in your life anymore. Somebody at work was asking her about how I had lost weight, and she was telling them about my channel and stuff. And they were like, isn't he tired? Not eating? And my wife was like, the opposite. He hasn't napped in a year. And she's like, it's just amazing how much energy you have. I used to go to bed probably at 10 o'clock at night. I'd get up at 6 in the morning to go to work, and I would rush home and take a nap. I would try to close my eyes anytime I could and get naps in as frequently as possible. Now I'm going to bed at 11. I'm waking up 15 minutes earlier than I used to, and I'm up. I got energy, and I'm ready to start moving. I never had that before. The amount of energy increase that one meal a day will give you is worth almost as much as the fact that you gain an hour of your life back. And you think about it, I'm sleeping an hour and 15 or so minutes less, so I really gained 2 hours back. How much more productive can you be in your life with 2 extra hours? That's what OMAD gave to me. Who's not thankful for that? I'm thankful for that, guys. Another beautiful benefit of OMAD is you don't have to worry so much about junk food. If you want a piece of pizza, you can have a piece of pizza and you don't have to feel guilty about it. My dad, 72 years old, just weighed in yesterday at 165. He was up in January, I think he said at 185. So 20 pounds my dad's had on OMAD. Just got into OMAD. He did intermittent fasting for a while when I first started. He fell off a little bit, and then he's gotten back into it. Now he's like OMAD. He's ready to go. All of his blood work and stuff's coming down. All of his blood pressure and all that good stuff. All that stuff's great. But he said the other day he went to a Boy Scout banquet and he had 2 pieces of cake. My dad hasn't eaten a piece of cake, he said, in 5 years. 5 years he hadn't eaten a piece of cake. He had 2 pieces, didn't feel guilty about it, got up in the morning and lost weight. Guys, that's what OMAD can give to you. I'm not saying it gives you the right to eat whatever you want as much as you possibly want at all times, but it does give you a right to be much more flexible in what you put in your mouth and not have to feel guilty about it. You don't have to feel bad when your kids have a birthday party. You can eat that piece of cake. It is just good, solid stuff, guys. Another great benefit of OMAD, mental clarity. Guys, you know, I feel sharper. I don't forget my keys. I used to forget my keys to work. I mean, they tell you all the time. I'd go to security and say, can you let me in my classroom? 5 times a year, 6 times a year, maybe more. I don't do that anymore. You know, just all kinds of little teeny things that you just are able to work yourself through because you're thinking more sharp and just being able to go and do what you needed to do. Here's something that I think is important too. It takes away your cravings, okay? I don't sit around during the day and crave things. You know, I walk past the break room and they got donuts in there for all the teachers. I don't even care. It's not in my window. It's not my time to eat. And if I really cared, I could stop by and get a donut for dinner, but I don't care. I don't care. And I would have cared a great deal 2 years ago. That's something that OMAD gives you, is it just takes away that need, especially outside of your window, of craving anything. You just have a mindset that says, I don't need to eat. It's not my time to eat. It's really that simple. I think it really works. I think that goes into psychology of it, and I think it gives you some psychological benefits. I feel better. I have a better positive attitude. I'm able to do all those things. I think a lot of that is there. You can't binge eat because, again, guys, in your head, you say it's not my window. Not my window. And you just move on with your life. So it takes that binging in a way. I think it also shrinks your stomach when you're only eating once a day. And so at first I was eating much bigger meals, and naturally that slows down. So I think your calorie intake over time decreases because you just don't feel like you need as much food. I think it gives you a better understanding of that. It's been proven to take care of irritable bowel syndrome and intestinal issues. Not fully take care of them, but everybody that has those issues say they get benefits from it. Improved immune system, guys. Improved immune system. I can't remember being sick since I started OMAD. I'm sure it's going to happen. I'm sure I'm going to be down. I might have a runny nose or something. But laid out, got a call in from work, kind of sick. I can't remember that happening. And I can't remember another time in my life when that didn't happen all the time. You know, multiple times a year. So it gives you a better immune system. You're able to fight things because your body's not trying to digest everything. It gives it a chance. If you really think about that, whenever you're sick, you don't want to eat. Why don't you want to eat? Because your body's telling you, stop so I can take care of the illness. Stop eating. But we don't listen to it. It teaches you how to be productive on an empty stomach. I think that's good. Here's one that I think everybody that does OMAD is going to stand up and tell you guys. It will allow you to enjoy your food more. I promise you, whatever you're eating is going to taste better when you're on one meal a day. You've waited for it all day. You've looked forward to it. On the opposite side, it does give you a little bit of a negative thing in the sense that you sometimes will look at a food. You'll want to, my wife will say, hey, we're going to do this for dinner. And for some reason it gets changed. And I'm like, oh, because I had in my head, man, we were going to have those fajitas, man, and they're so good, And then I'm like, I got to adjust on the moment. I got to have, oh, man, I'm so looking forward to those fajitas. But on the other side, when you sit down and eat those fajitas and you've been waiting on them all day, man, that is a good, solid, strong meal. Okay, guys? So I think that those are the reasons for me that OMAD is the king of all of them. OMAD is the king of fasting for me personally. Now, I do think a lot of those things you're going to learn on smaller levels with all the other ones. I think fasting is something that's beautiful. I hope it's been 24 minutes that you've been with me. Those of you guys that have made it this far, I hope you've learned something from it today. I really wanted to make a video so that when people come to the channel and they're like, what the heck is fasting? They can click on this and they can just get an overall view of it. But I also wanted to let you guys know that OMAD, for me, is the most flexible, best diet, lifestyle, not even a diet, in the world. And I think it would be for you if you can tough it out a few weeks and make it through. All right, guys, I hear my peeps coming home. I got to get them up and get those boys going for the night. So I appreciate you guys. If you got any questions, leave them down in the comments. Please leave something down in the comments. Guys, give me a like, subscribe, guys. My subscriber count is almost at 350, guys. Let's get it up to 350. Let's do it together. Let's work on it, maybe get it up even better. You know, the more warriors we have, the better, guys. I want to bring a community of people together that lose weight, that have each other's back, that talk to each other, you know, and just a beautiful family. That's what I want this channel to be. You're my family, and I want you to go out there and get your weight loss done. I hope this video helps. I hope you find a fasting protocol that works for you, and I hope you get on it and start losing weight, guys. Whether you're dirty or clean fasting, whether you do dry fasting, whether you do water, whatever